G'day chaps, it's Biz here. I am going to talk to you a bit about some recent additions I've made to Perseverance Adherence. Now, you might notice that my character seems a bit slow, and that she's much bigger than this one here. Now, originally we were planning to make this game much more graphic in the terms of sprites, and we still will, but not on a basis of every fucking map. In fact, mostly these are going to be saved for city runs. And the justification for that is, firstly, it will give PJ time to work on other projects, which he has a lot of now, and it will also mean that I can begin working on this sooner rather than later. Because I already have placeholders for the original set of things. Now, the shotgun's changed, yes, but that was already in the previous video where I talked to 106. The addition I really want to show you, which I'll kill this bitch with so we don't have to deal with her shit anymore, or my horribly incessant typing, is the bomb glove. So, at base, it's basically just like the Zodiac, but only when you're standing still, like so. If you move while shooting it, it's a whole new thing. Very risky, and it's just bugged in a bit. But yeah, that's the bomb glove. So it's basically meant to be a charge punch. It's a bit wonky currently, but don't worry, I will work on it until it feels good. Currently it does not. I just wanted to show that I basically had the idea down of what I want to do. I just have to tweak with values and probably add a ghost image over what is there, because right now it sort of functions like a weird, awkward fart of delay. So anyway, kill that bitch. So I can basically just stop using the keyboard now. So that's the reason for the size change, and why this character looks so sluggish. That's because she's using a large sprite on a 32x32 tile grid. Now the reason for using a 32x32 tile grid is because first off, that gives me more room to work with, and I wanted. There was a lot of things I wanted to do in the original Perseverance Adherence that I could not because of the restrictions on size, which now just aren't an issue. Of course, there are still some restrictions on size. I mean, I can't go making this 1980 by 1920 by 1080 and expect everyone to be able to run it. But if anyone seriously still has a monitor that's smaller than 1024 by 768, I think you probably need to upgrade anyway. Another thing is, we've got a more fluid way of changing weapons. For instance, we've got, we can just press the number keys. And also, I was trying to get mouse wheel support for it, but I don't think that's going to happen. And, for power-ups, it'll just be QWERTY UI. OP if I come up with new ones. Actually, I'm not sure how we're going to do weapon power-ups, but I had something planned anyway. I mean, just the power-ups. Anyway, new power-ups coming, of course. I talked about those a bit in the last video, as is. The tiles will be gone. There won't be tiles anymore. Firstly, because there's a bit of an issue with MV in that whenever a map has to load tiles, whenever it refreshes, it causes a lot of lag. This is very, very bad. So instead of using tile sets, we're going to just use parallaxes, like has been done with Perseverance Adherence in the first act, or most of it. And that's the ideal direction for the game. That was the direction the game originally headed in. It was just unreasonable for the time, because I had to make a lot of maps, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to do it, and also get the plot established, and I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted. So what I did was I made all the maps and got all that done, and now I can go back and think, okay, cool, we can use this, and just have, things already implemented, and I already know basically what I want. I've got, like, the world shaped out and stuff. It's going to be a bit bigger now, but that's fine. That just gives me more room to put in, like, secrets and puzzles and what have you. There's a lot of, the main reason for switching to MV, which is what I'm using if you couldn't tell, was because the VXAs lags like a fuck ton. In fact, one of the major criticisms Perseverance Adherence got was I would have rather this made in something that can actually support it. And that's a fair concern. And it was a huge issue, especially for a few Let's Players who took time out of their day to Let's Play this stupid thing, to like have really bad lag on some of the bosses. The Gauntlet was especially so because it was just wave after wave of lots of enemies. But there were some other bosses who lagged a lot too, such as the Saxus fight. Anything with Dreadcasters, for some reason, lagged like crazy. But that should all be corrected with MV, and if it's not, I'll look into it and get someone to optimize their shit, or optimize my shit for me, or I'll optimize it myself. There's been a lot of quality of life changes, both for my continued development of the game and for your experience with the game. And I'll talk about those in another video. Right now, as you might imagine, most of the maps are broken because I've been converting this, and while all the dialogue and stuff works fine, there's a few script calls that are being used, which I just can't, feasibly expect to work in this new one, the weather script being one of them, and the weather script was used basically globally throughout the whole game. So, we've got a lot of stuff to do. Right now, I just want to get the gameplay sorted, and that's basically the goal, is to get the gameplay and all the new systems basically finished for before I have to go back to TAFE. And when I get on break again, and maybe even in between a bit, I'll work on the actual story and maps and getting that all sorted out. Meanwhile, my artists are busy at work doing art. You probably noticed these sprites again if you've already watched the first video of this series. He who talks in room 106. You have already seen a lot of this, but as you can see, we've got updated faces and suits now. They're not weird naked cats running around anymore. Lastly, the reason the resolution has been upped to 1024 by 768 rather than just staying at 960 by 720, which was a fine resolution, made it very easy to calculate things, is because the 720, the horizontal axis, is not divisible by 32. So in other words, I would have had a tile that was just constantly not there and also there. Just a tile that shouldn't be there, but it is also there, sort of. It would have been a mess. Because I would have either had to just cut a tile short, which would have made the whole game look weird, or add a tile extra, which would have meant we had scrolling, which is a huge issue for a game like Perseverance Adherence. So we just thought, hey, might as well just make 1024 by 768. It's still generously 4:3 resolution, which means unless you have a monitor built in the fucking 90s, unless you have a monitor built in the 80s even, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. Because, most of those monitors can go up to 1280 by 1080 these days, and if you've got a widescreen, you have nothing to worry about, because no one develops widescreen monitors that are smaller than 768 pixels high. That's you can do a bigger resolution. So yeah, that's basically how it's worked. And if at worst comes to absolute worst, you can just full screen the game, and if you have widescreen, it'll look terrible, because it'll be squashed. I think they might have actually fixed that. I haven't checked yet. But yeah, that all aside, that's basically what we've been doing. So I'm going to cut this video off here because I've already gone on longer than I did last time, but not time 4. So cheers, fellows. I'll see you next time we do a video of this sort.